All right, so the next thing that I kind of want to discuss is the calendar. So I'm just going to select the calendar that will open up for us here. Let's give it a second to load. I'm actually going to go back a month just so we have something to look at. I'm kind of working with test courses, so I sometimes forget to change the due dates. Okay. So this is what the calendar looks like on a month view. It's nice because all of the courses that you're enrolled in will actually come up here on this calendars list, and they automatically are assigned a color. So for a student, it's really nice. They can utilize the calendar and they can see all of the items that are going on in the class. So we can see, you know, we have some quizzes here, assignments here, discussions up here, and they're all color-coded depending on the course over here. So you can see, you know, at a bird's eye view what's going on in all of the courses. So in this example, if I was a student, I could say, oh my gosh, the week of the 13th is going to be kind of crazy. I need to, you know, adjust some time and, you know, give myself more than normal to kind of work on this week, which is kind of cool. For an instructor, it's really nice because you can start creating your Canvas course right here in the calendar. So I'm sure you guys all, you know, are required to utilize a syllabus. This is a great time to have that syllabus in front of you. I'm sure in the syllabus there is a, you know, an assignment schedule. You know, have that assignment schedule in front of you so you can start inputting those assignments right into your Canvas course. And you can do that right here on the calendar. So to do that, I'm just going to click on the plus icon, and I have two options. I can create a new event, which is not linked to the gradebook. So if I don't want to assign a grade to it, I would create an event. But normally I would probably create an assignment, which is linked to the gradebook. So I'm just going to click on the assignment tab, and now I can input the, you know, go down my assignment list and just input those assignment titles. So this is kind of the first way of, you know, starting from scratch and putting those assignments in here. So say, you know, I have an essay, I can then put in my due date real easily here. The calendar option is really important. You have to change the calendar to the course in which you want this assignment to sit in. So right now I have a sandbox course, a practice course. I can select that sandbox course. You can see the color changes corresponding to the colors on the calendars list. Right now I only have one assignment group. We'll talk about how to create additional groups in a second. And then the last option is to publish. So again, I kind of touched on how when you have a course, by default, the course is unpublished. You have to grant them access to enter the course. And then everything you create in Canvas, you'll also have to publish for students to access it. So I'm just going to submit this, and you can see if I go to where I put it, it's automatically here. The nice thing about Canvas is that when you update something in one place, it gets updated everywhere that it can be. So for example, I don't have to worry, you know, if I create something on the calendar, I don't have to worry about going into the class and updating it there. It just automatically does it. So I'm going to add one more assignment shell by clicking on the plus icon, and then the assignments tab, and then I'm just going to say Essay 2. Give it a quick due date. Tell it what course I want this to live in, and then submit it. The other really nice thing about the calendar is that it's really easy to change the due date. So for example, probably right now you have to go into a course, you have to find the assignment, you have to open up the assignment to edit, then you have to go to the due date and change it. Well, in Canvas, you can utilize the calendar. Each assignment, each item is its own little box. What you can do is you can just click the item and click and drag it to the area that you want it to change the due date to, and it will automatically update. So you can just click and drag that item anywhere you want to change the due date, and again, it will update here, it'll update in the course, and it only took, what, 2 seconds for me to click and drag that. So that's really kind of cool. Okay. So a few other things to just mention here. If you create something in a course, which we'll do in just a few, and you don't attach a due date to it, you'll have this undated items here. You can open up this list and all of the undated items will be here, and then you can just click and drag it to give the due date if you want. We have the calendar feed option. If you utilize Outlook or your Gmail calendar or iCal, whatever, you can actually utilize this feed and have the Canvas items appear in that second calendar. It is a one-way feed, so you would only be able to create things in Canvas, which would appear in the other calendar. You wouldn't be able to create items in the other calendar and have them appear here. One last thing in the calendar that I think is kind of cool is the scheduler. So I can access that by clicking scheduler at the top kind of right-hand corner. The scheduler allows you to create appointment groups. So maybe if you teach, a science class, a lab class, and there's limited resources of, something that the students have to utilize, you could actually create an appointment group, put in the time range, and then have Canvas split that time range into a certain amount of slots. Then students can come in here and sign up. So, not all of the students come in at once. They have their own slot in which they can, come. This is nice for maybe, office hours as well. You could put a time range in there and then, have students sign up for them. So I got to that by clicking on the scheduler button in the calendar, and then I could create a new appointment group. Okay, so now that we kind of talked about the calendar and how you can utilize that to create assignment shells, those assignments that don't have any content in it, they're just kind of like a placeholder. Now I kind of want to get into a course, and we can talk about some of the stuff you can do in there. So to access a course, I'm going to hover my mouse over the courses menu in the global navigation area, and then I'm just going to select the course that I want to access. If the course is not on this list, I could click on that View All and then click on the course on that page as well. So I clicked on the course and it brought me to the Canvas course that I selected. Kind of by default, it drops me into the course on the home page, and that's what you're seeing right now. This area over here on the left-hand side is called the Course Navigation menu. This is all course specific. Everything that we talk about from now on will be course specific. The body of the page displays whatever link that you have selected in the course navigation. And then the right-hand area gives you as the instructor some more options on whatever page that you see. Students will have limited access to this area over here. So again, we're on the home page, and the first thing we see over here is the course status. Like I said, by default, your course will be unpublished. You have to publish a course to allow students access to it. There's kind of two ways you can do that. Maybe if you're a face-to-face teacher and you kind of just plan to utilize Canvas as a file repository, you could totally publish a blank course and then, get into the course and add content to it as the semester goes on. Maybe if you're utilizing Canvas more, maybe you're an online teacher, or you're just kind of wanting to utilize the features of Canvas in your face-to-face classes, you can actually set up all of the stuff in your course, so you can add files, add content to your course, get it exactly how you want it, and then publish your course maybe on the first day of the semester, so students can have access to the stuff that you want them to have access to. There's also this setup checklist. Definitely utilize that when you begin using your Canvas at the beginning of the semester. It kind of gives you a checklist of the things that you should do before publishing. I'm not going to click on that because today I'm pretty much your course setup checklist. Okay, so like I said, when we access a course, we're kind of dropped in on this home page. By default, the home page is set up to display recent activities. So this is much like that Canvas dashboard where you know, you can see a snapshot of what's going on in all of the course. Give me 1 second, sorry. Okay, so you would be able to see everything that's going on in the course right on here. So announcements, any due dates, all of that good stuff. But as a teacher, you can actually change what the students see when they first log in to your course. And you can do that by clicking on this Choose Homepage button over here on the right-hand side. So I'm just going to select that, and we'll talk about the options we have. I realize that some of these options may seem a little foreign to you right now, but I'm going to introduce you to them because we're going to access all of these areas. And I want you to realize that, you know, all of these areas can be set as the first thing students see when accessing your course. So like I said, the first thing is that course activity stream. That's the recent activities. You can choose pages. So in Canvas, you can create a content page and add, you know, whatever you want to it. So maybe you would create a page and put a really serious image of yourself with your arms crossed, with your office hours and name in there. If that's the first thing you want your students to see, you can definitely create that page and set that. So we have course modules. We're going to be talking about modules in just a second, but it's an area in which you can kind of chunk up your information so it's more manageable for students. If that's the first thing you want your students to see, you can select that. And then the assignment list and syllabus options are very similar. They give the student a automatically generated list of all of the items that are in your course. I'm actually going to select syllabus to kind of show you what that looks like. I'm going to click save, and now my home screen will actually redirect to the syllabus option in the course navigation. So you'll notice that the syllabus link has been selected rather than the home screen. So like I said, this syllabus page is an automatically generated list of the things that you put in Canvas. So this is a blank course other than the 2 items that I added on the calendar, and those 2 items automatically populate right here. So if you're wanting to give, you know, your students kind of just a list of everything that's in your course, you can give them access to this. So sometimes teachers get a little stuck on the idea of the Canvas syllabus and your institution syllabus. Those are 2 totally separate things, but Canvas allows you to bring them together if you want. So I'm sure, you know, you guys have that institutional syllabus that you're required to fill out each semester. You're still probably going to have to do that, but the nice thing is you can actually embed or upload that file right to this Canvas syllabus page. So like I said in, you know, kind of a little bit before, any page that you can edit in Canvas will always have that pencil icon. So here, this pencil icon is here saying Edit Syllabus Description. If I click on that, the page will open up for me to add content to it. So again, if I wanted to add my institutional syllabus, that legal document that you're required to fill out each semester, if you want to upload that to this Canvas syllabus page, you definitely can do that. The first step was to edit the page, which allowed me to add content to it. Then I can come up here to the Insert Content into the Page area, and it's a file, usually it's a PDF, right? So I can select the Files tab right here, and now I can actually upload that file here. So to do that, I can select a new file and then choose the file. And now I can just search my, you know, computer to find that syllabus. So I would have already, you know, created that. Now I'm just going to open and upload that. And you'll notice when I click on upload over here, it'll kind of blink yellow and it'll say, okay, now that file is on this page. Any page that I edit, I always have to save or update. In this case, it's Update Syllabus. So I'm just going to click on that blue button. And now that syllabus will be right here, and my students could access it. If they click on it, they would download it. And if I wait a little bit, okay, so if I wait like 5 seconds, this little preview icon will be here. I can actually click on that preview button, and I can see the document without having to download it. So maybe, you know, if I'm a student in here and I want to just check my something on the syllabus, maybe my points breakdown or something. Rather than downloading it, I can just click on that preview button and then I can see it in the window, which is kind of cool. All right. So that's the syllabus and how you can add a file to the syllabus page. The nice thing about Canvas is kind of once you get the hang of adding content into there like we just did, you'll be able to do that those same steps on any page, anything that you can edit. So again, just to go over how I did that really quickly, I opened up the page by clicking on the pencil icon. I wanted to insert content into the page, so I utilized this area on the right-hand side. I selected the Files tab, then I uploaded a new file, which then came onto the page. Always have to save, and when I do that, that will be available on the page. All right. So the next thing that I kind of want to get into, I'm going to move away from the syllabus page and I'm going to go into the files area. So to do that, I'm just going to click on the Files tab in the course navigation, and it'll bring me to my course-specific files area. And you can see that syllabus that I just uploaded on the syllabus page is actually sitting right here. All of the files that you upload to your course will always sit in this files area, no matter where you upload them. By default, you'll have one folder titled your course name, and that's the root folder. That's where everything sits. I definitely recommend being really organized and creating additional folders to kind of put your items in. And you can easily do that by going over here to the right-hand side and just clicking on Add Folder, and then just typing out a title for that folder. Maybe this is a PDFs folder. Maybe I want a couple more images. And I'll just do one more. So I'm clicking on Add Folder, and then I'm just giving it a name and typing Enter on my keyboard. The nice thing about this area is I can drag and drop in here as well. So this syllabus file should really go into the PDFs folder. I can just drag and drop it right in there. Something to note is that this left-hand side actually controls this right-hand side. So whatever I have selected on the left hand will actually open up on the right-hand side. So if I, click on PDFs folder over here on the left, that PDFs folder will actually open up on the right-hand side. If I wanted to add additional files, I can just choose Add Files, and then again select them from my computer. The other nice thing is if you have a folder on your desktop, so say you have a folder on here that you want to upload some items in there, you can easily just drag and drop the file from your desktop right into Canvas. So I just clicked and drug that item right in here. I'm just going to change where this file sits. All of these folders and all of these files I can lock. So if I don't want to give students access to them, I can hover my mouse over the item and then click on the lock icon. It may be a little bit different for you, or it may change in just a few weeks. We have a new file system where it kind of is a little bit more streamlined and easier to use. You'd be able to publish an item. You'd be able to lock and set a window in which, a time frame in which students would have access to it, all of that good stuff. So that's something to look forward to. All right, the other thing to note is that you as the instructor can kind of utilize this files area just for yourself if you want. So you can upload all of the files you want in here and then restrict the students from accessing it. And I'll at the end of this session, I'll show you how you can turn these navigation links on and off. All right. Okay, so we just talked about files, how we can, create new folders, be really organized, and add the files to them and lock them and whatnot. The next thing that I'm going to get into is the modules area. So in our course navigation, I'm going to select modules. I like to think of the modules area as a big filing cabinet, and then if you open that big filing cabinet, what's inside, you have probably tons of manila folders that are labeled, different things, and then in the manila folders, we have tons of papers that are thrown in there, right? Well, again, I like to think of the modules area as that filing cabinet, and then the modules that we create are the manila folders, and then we can add items into those manila folders. The nice thing about this is that you can create a module pretty much based on how your course is structured. So if you structure your course around units, maybe around themes, chapters in your book, topics, or maybe even chronologically, you can set up your modules that way. So in the course that I taught, I set up my modules by week, so I'm just going to use that as an example. I'm going to click on the plus module button to kind of create my first module. A pop-up window will appear, which you're looking at right now, and now I can just give my module a name. I have the ability to lock the module until a given date. So maybe if I am a face-to-face teacher and I'm wanting to give, some lecture notes and resources out after my lecture, I can definitely just select this and then, select a date, maybe the day after or right after my lecture, and it will automatically open up so I don't have to worry about coming back here and giving students access to it. The other option we have at this point is to require students to move through the items in the module in sequential order. So I taught an online class. I had a midterm module, and in that midterm module I put some resources, and then I put the actual assignment in which they had to submit. I clicked on this button because I wanted to make sure my students can look at those resources before they have access to the actual assignment. So question on the floor, can we write with accents? You definitely can. It would just be, those alt codes or, if I'm on a Mac, so I can just hold down my key and it will give me the alt code, hopefully. So I definitely can do that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to add that module, and I'm just going to add a few more just so we have something to look at here. So I'll do week 2, maybe one more, week 3. So I can start building these modules out. After I have a few of these modules, I can actually set prerequisites, which allow me as the instructor to set requirements so the student has to do A before they have access to B. And I'm going to switch over to a course that actually has some content in it, so we can kind of take a look at what that looks like, kind of already done. So I'm just going to go into the modules. This instructor is an online instructor, so they created modules based on units. So they have a module here that is textbook and resources. So all of that stuff that the student needs throughout the course, they created that module, in the beginning, and then they kind of created modules based off of units. So all of the items that they want their students to, see, they put in here. The prerequisites are set, so I see prerequisites down here. They must finish the Getting Started module before they have access to the Unit 1 module. And you can see that there's kind of this black little text in here telling the student what they have to do to complete the module. So in this case, they have to submit this discussion. In the week 1, they must submit this quiz, they must submit this assignment, and them completing those things allows them access to keep moving forward and have access to the additional modules. So now I'm going to switch back over into my practice course. We have our modules kind of built here. Everything that we create, we always have to publish. You can see there those cloud icons here. I can just click on those cloud icons and then it will publish the module. So if a student had access to here and they clicked on the modules, this is exactly what they see. They would probably get a little confused because there's nothing in these modules, but that's what we're going to kind of do now. We're going to add content to the modules. So to add that content, I'm going to go to the plus icon next to the module that I want to import the content to. This pop-up menu will appear, and it will allow me to add something to the module that I selected. In this case, I'm going to add an assignment to the week 1 module. This middle area is a drop-down menu, so if I drop this menu down, I can select any part of Canvas, any part of my Canvas class. And again, we're going to kind of talk about how to create new quizzes. We're going to talk about how to create content pages, how to create discussions, all of that good stuff. But just at this point, know that anything that you create in your Canvas course, you can add to a module for students to kind of have a rundown, a playlist, if you will, of the items that they need to do. So right now we added some files. I can just click on files and then all of those files are there. I can simply just add that file, maybe this PowerPoint. I can add that item to the module. Maybe I'll go back and add maybe one of those assignment shells that we added in the calendar. I selected the plus icon. I just dropped that menu down and I'm selecting assignment. Now I can select one of those assignment shells that I created on the calendar. You can actually organize your content in the module itself by utilizing these text headers. So again, I clicked on the plus icon and then I selected text header in the drop-down menu. Now I can just add a header. So maybe, I want my students to read. I can add that item. Now it kind of just sits here and I can add something underneath it and then maybe even indent it. So it kind of looks, everything that my students have to read can be, sitting under this header. Maybe I'll have another one. I'll just go to the plus icon and say, do. I can add that. Now, this is an assignment, so I'll put that under the do. I can actually go over here to the gear icon and indent it if I want. So you can see I can start kind of organizing and building out my content really easily. If I switch back over to the course that has content in it, you can see they actually did it. They created a content page, which we're going to talk about next, and then indented everything that they have to do underneath that content page. So there's tons of ways you can organize the modules and be, organized for your students to access the material. All right, so that's modules. It's a great way, like I said, to organize your course. If you have all of this stuff kind of set up, it's really easy for your students to just kind of start at the top of a module and work their way down and complete all of the content.